Hey everyone, hope you guys are doing well today. Hope everyone's been enjoying this public speaking class. I want to go ahead and let you guys know what I'm going to be doing my informative speech on. I'm going to be informing you guys about the resurgent conflict in Iraq, and in particular the insurgency group called the Islamic States in Iraq, in Syria, and the Levant. In short, ISIS. That's their acronym. That's ISIS. So there are approximately 32.58 million people in Iraq, according to Google Census. Here's a picture of the country in discussion right here. Iraq, as many of us are familiar. I have an area up here highlighted that I'll talk to you about later. So to kind of kick it off here, ISIS is essentially an Islamic insurgency group. It was founded in 2003. Now, some speculate that they are indeed a splinter organization from Al Qaeda, and their current leader is named Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Now, their objective is to establish an Islamic caliphate in Iraq and throughout all the Islamic world. So the definition of an insurgency group, first, according to dictionary.com, is a group that rises in forcible opposition to lawful authority, especially a group who engages in armed resistance to a government or to the execution of its laws, essentially rebels. And then the Islamic caliphate that they're seeking to establish can be defined as an Islamic state led by a supreme religious and political leader known as a caliph. Uh, so essentially, a lot of this controversy over over caliphate essentially roots back to the origins of the faith of Islam, which discuss which are between two groups, two major sects in the religion: the Sunni Muslims and the Shiite Muslims. Now, Sunni Muslims comprise about 88% of Muslims worldwide, and the Shiites are a smaller minority, which can comprise 12, the other 12%. Now, Iraq is one of the few areas that is indeed a predominantly Shiite area. So ISIS is a Sunni group, and they're coming into Iraq and leading raids and basically trying to take the country over. And they've been doing it at an alarming rate. If you guys have been keeping up with the news at all lately, so their leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, just to quote him, he says that the Mujahideen have been rewarded victory by God after years of jihad, and they want to usher in a caliphate here. So, like I said, now kind of transitioning over to ISIS raids in the country and the United States involvement. To my second point, the United States, as many of you know, has been involved in Iraq since 1991. That was the first Gulf War. Essentially, what happened was Saddam Hussein, Iraq's leader, moves into Kuwait. The United States aids Kuwait out of humanitarian purposes, primarily for oil interest in the region. Iraq is essentially bombed to death. Baghdad, their capital, is bombed into the ground, and the United States comes out of the country. Iraq is left in shambles, and we do not return until 2003, which sparked kind of a very controversial readjustment. Now here, I kind of wanted to going back to kind of the Sunni and Shia dispute here. Here's an image of kind of a tug of war battle between the two sects. Here's a picture of ISIS, the main group. It's kind of like a group photo here of some primary leaders. And here's an image of the Gulf War, kind of in 1991 when we first got involved in the country. So now, of course, as you know, the United States was sent into Iraq, and we helped establish a new Iraqi government after capturing Saddam Hussein. Here's a picture of the Iraqi army right here. That is kind of the army that we helped establish. Now, you might be asking, why does any of this really matter? I'll kind of transition to my third point based off of this. We have a lot of vested oil interest in Iraq, and we have been in the country for a while now, and the ISIS raiders are coming in and essentially challenging what we have helped establish. And they're being very violent and pursuing ruthlessly and relentlessly. So transitioning to my third point here. So kind of talking about ISIS and things. Let's see. So as early as Wednesday, the group has been this past Wednesday. The group has been in advancing upon the capital of Baghdad. They originally captured a city in northern Iraq called Mosul, and the government and the Iraqi officials have been the government and the army, Iraqi army, and ISIS has been in constant battle over the area. So according to Anthony Kordsman, a security analyst at Washington at the Center for Strategic International Studies, he said that the Iraqi army lost approximately 3 divisions worth of equipment and probably at least three depots in the area. So that happened in the northern city of Mosul, which, as I referred to earlier, is located up here where the star is. So kind of a worst case scenario situation would be for the Islamic Caliphate and theocracy to get established. It would be very hard on the country if that were to happen. Best case scenario is that the Iraqi army can grow up quickly and oust this insurgent group. But kind of applying to you and me, everyday people, we could be looking at increased taxes if our military has to make a presence in the country, and we could also be looking at increased gas prices because that is a hotbed for oil. So just wanted to let you guys know the situation over there is very fragile. We have deployed nearly 300 Marines as of a couple weeks ago, and it's looking like we might have another conflict on our hands in the Middle East yet again. So I'm Mitch Wunderlich, and just wanted to leave you guys at that. So